Good afternoon. Let me know if you're here. I pressed the wrong button and playing around with some new things that I thought I knew what I was doing. So, oh dear. Welcome. This is episode 64. And, okay. So if you're here, let me know. Um, I think I was here a minute ago. Let's see. We've got connection. Okay, I think I did this right. Um, okay, hi Nancy. Okay, I'm in the right place. I had it started and then I pressed the wrong button and ended it. So I have to recreate it. But anyway, well, welcome to Snowgeddon here in Northeast Ohio. This is Pat Mayer, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Akron, Ohio. And we had a lot of snow overnight. Um, I keep waiting to hear if my snowplow person has arrived yet, and here it's 3:30, and I'm sure he's just overwhelmed with trying to get to places, and so mine isn't done yet. Okay, yes, I'm here now. All right. Get my act together. All right. It is celebration time and still mini catalog. And I had a real senior moment yesterday and actually this morning because I knew what I was going to focus on, and that is the Daffodil Afternoon Designer Series paper that is available for free. Welcome, Sue. That is available for free during celebration. I've been making lots of cards with it. I love it. And for some reason, I thought I had the Daffodil. Let's turn to the right page here. The Daffodil Daydream Bundle stamp set. Hello, I didn't have that. I don't have it. So, hi Carol, hi Fran. So imagine my surprise. And I remember now that I didn't order it because I thought I'll wait till later in the spring because Mother's Day, Easter, a little bit later. So I didn't need it on my initial order. But I do have the paper because it was available as a celebration offering. So I'm going to focus on the paper today, as well as this Special Moments stamp set that is also a celebration item. I keep freezing. Okay, that's my phone in the background. I don't know what's going on over there. So I don't even answer that. Anyway, this is also a celebration offering that is available for $100 order. And it's wonderful. And sentiments, I think I used it last week. So I'm going to be using this again today, as well as the paper. So let me show you this paper. See, I'm hearing noises outside. That's funny, Sue, that I was freezing. I was watching something earlier today, and that was freezing for me too, or I just had a really bad connection. So I don't know if it's a weather thing or what the deal is on that. So I'm sorry. I hope it fixes. Okay. So this is the paper. It does come 12 by 12, and I believe I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I've been cutting my paper to 4 by 6. And I do find that I'm using it, but these are the designs. Hey, LJ, you're here. So this is one. So I'm showing you the front and the back of each one. And this is the one that I'm going to be using this afternoon. Here is another one. And I love the colors in here. And I'll give you all of those in just a second. So even though I don't have the stamp set, I'm able to create a lot with just this. And I believe I've mentioned that I've been keeping them in these little photo containers that are also for the 4x6. And what I do is to cut the, I actually made a copy of this, but I cut the cardboard that comes with our designer paper so that I've got that here and I know what it is, and I put the name on the side so that this is Daffodil Afternoon. Okay, sorry, Gloria and Sue. It looks like I have a good connection. I've got a little blue button up here in the corner, so it's showing that it's okay from here. So if you have trouble with it, try to come back later and see if you can watch it on Facebook or catch it on YouTube when I get it posted up there later this evening. So anyway, I have all of the colors here, and we have Basic Black, Crushed Curry, Daffodil Delight, Evening Evergreen, Flirty Flamingo, Mint Macaron, Mossy Meadow, Pale Papaya, Pear Pizzazz, and Very Vanilla. So it's just forcing me to use it, and I've got little bits and pieces in here that I can use on other projects. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi, Linda. Welcome. How are you over there in your neck of the woods? Did you get lots and lots of snow as well? Okay, this is the card that I'm going to make. I got the idea from a Canadian demonstrator, and I cannot remember her name, but it's a fun fold, excuse me, that is I would call it a bridge card or a bridge flap fold. And I did, before I messed things up, had all of the directions and measurements on the site when I first started it, before I messed it up, so I'll have to do it again. So I have a piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's folded at 4 1/4. Make sure that that is correct. Whoops, I've got the wrong side here. I've got centimeters up, so, but I know that that's correct. So 5.5 by 4 1/4. I also have some designer paper from this design that's cut at 2 3/4 by 4. 4 strips of the opposite side that are 1 by 4, and I was able to get 3 of the strips from one piece of my 4 by 6. I needed to cut into the other piece, or another piece, of the 4 by 6 to get this, but there's still plenty left to make another full card. What you do need to watch for on this back side, or any of these, is to make sure that your directional design goes the right way. And I'll show you that with another card that I made up. So that, you need a piece that is 5.5 by 1 1/4. Another piece that is the same as that DSP, 2 3/4 by 4, that's going to go on the inside. And then a small piece for the sentiment that is 1 by 2 3/4. Yes, Linda, bundle of snow over there. I actually took my took a yardstick out and opened up the garage, and it was almost 16 inches. But I think some of that is the blowing snow that blew over here too, because my neighbor's house didn't look like she got that much. But anything over 6 or 7 inches was way more than I even want to think about. All right, so how do we make this? There's going to be 2 little flaps here. And I'm going to use my paper trimmer. And if you didn't know this about our trimmer, there is a little, let me hold this up here, little line here that shows where the blade actually cuts, and a little arrow. So I can use that to cut to exactly the same place on both sides. So on the right side of my trimmer, let me zoom in here, I'm going to line this up at 1 1/4. On the right side, we can go all the way over to 1 1/2 inches, which makes it really convenient. So I'm going to put my cutting blade here and go right up to that score line. And I can see, I know there's a glare there, but I can see where that little line is. So now I have a flap. I can go a little bit further, or I could snip it. I want to go right to the score line. And then I'll do the same thing over here. This time I'll come down from the top and pull down and stop where I see that. So now I have 2 flaps. Now you can do the same thing over on this side as well if your trimmer doesn't have this over here on this side. So either way, I want to make a flap that is 1 1/4. And that's basically all we're going to do to make this fun fold. So I do want to make sure that that's all the way up here. Let's give that a nice crease. And now let's add our parts to the paper. So I'll just kind of place this out before I glue it down so you can see where we're going with this. This and this, so that's going to go like that. So first of all, I'm going to glue this one down. And get my liquid adhesive. So the flaps are 1 1/4. And these DSP pieces are 1 by 4. So we've got enough of a border around the edge there. Now I'll do the center part. And line that up, so I want that to be the same as this down here. So that looks pretty good, because this was 2 3/4 by 4. So it gives a nice border around the edge. And then add this piece over here. So once you get those 2 little flaps cut on your trimmer, the rest of this is very, very easy to put together. and then you'll see how it's going to connect. So I think it was called a bridge card or a flap card. I think if you do a search on Pinterest for bridge cards, you might see some different designs. So whoever came up with it, I'm not sure, but at any rate. So now let's put it together with inside the plain white piece so that you can write something on the inside, or vanilla. Because this designer paper has vanilla in it instead of the white, and I like it. I like using the vanilla once in a while. So that's going to go in here. Then we're going to add these other two pieces here. So let's see, I haven't seen any comments for a little bit. Is anybody still having connection issues? Okay, that's a little crooked, but too late to turn it right now. Okay, so I haven't seen anybody else say anything about connection issues. So that's going there. And this is going over here. Okay, I may heat this so that that's crooked and it's going to make me crazy, but I'll go ahead and finish the card. Now, here's where the bridge part comes in. This piece that I said was 5.5 by 1.25 inches is going to go, oops, other way. It's going to go in here like this, with just a little bit of the paper showing here. So when I flip this up, I want to add adhesive only here and here. So let's do that. So make sure I'm getting this right this way. Green glue is good, and it does give you a little bit of wiggle room, but it will throw you for a loop if you don't get it on there right. Okay, and bring that down. So there we have this cute little flap card, and then that helps to hold that flap down. And then this part, this little piece that was 1 by 2 3/4 goes in here, and that's where you can put a sentiment. So this is what I'm going to show you, a little bit different. Let's see, Fran, you said you can't watch on the iPad at all, so you're using your phone. Huh, wonder why. It's got to be just maybe what's going on in cyberspace, I guess, with internet, and it could be weather related too. So that's going to go in here, and I'm going to make this one again with the Special Moments stamp set. Let's see. I've used this several times. Thanks for brightening my day, which is a great one for just about anything. And it does fit on that 1-inch strip. Thanks for brightening my day. Now, let's get this over here. I'm just going to put this on my silicone mat just so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to emboss this, but not with gold or one of the metallics that we have. So let's get this on a block and just give you a little tip that if you have your supplies ready, you can emboss with one of our dye-based ink pads. And I remember when I first started stamping, and I think I mentioned this a week or so ago, and I've been doing a lot more embossing, but I remember hearing that a dye-based stamp will dry very quickly, and it will, where a pigment pad is more for powder, and that's what you can emboss with. Well, if you're quick about it, you can emboss with a dye-based ink pad. And the whole thing about it is getting your embossing powder on before it dries. So if you have everything ready, you can emboss in clear, and so it'll make that evening evergreen really pop a little bit more. Now, with a pigment pad, and we only have one pigment pad nowadays, and that is white, with pigment ink or Versamark. Now, if I was going to use one of the metallics and use Versamark, then you can wait, and let's say you can do a whole bunch of them and emboss all at one time. But with a dye-based pad, you have to be ready to emboss almost immediately. Now, you might think, why don't I stamp in Versamark and then stamp in my evening evergreen? Well, I've done that before, and if you do that too often, it will kind of, what I use as a, for lack of a better word, gunk up your dye-based ink pad, and I don't want to do that. So I'm taking the Versamark kind of out of the mix this time because I wanted to show this technique. So I'm going to use clear embossing powder. So let's get that ready. I've got this big jar of it, and I'm going to use a coffee filter. So that's a good way to use it too. And get my you can hear it there. Get my heat gun kind of warmed up, and here I'm going to use Evening Evergreen because there's enough dark green in that designer paper that I used, I think, to make this work. Okay, so thanks for brightening my day. Hope my head's not getting in the way. Sprinkle that on there. Now, I did not use my embossing buddy, which, as you know, we don't carry that anymore, but I think this looks pretty good. We're going to see. Get that back in there. Close that up. And grab my little clothespin and heat this up. So instead of being a matte look, it will give it a shine. And sometimes doing it this way, you want to maybe heat from underneath. Let's see, I need to look at this and see if it's actually doing it. Oh yes. It gives it enough of a shine so that you can see that it's actually embossed and doing what I want it to do. So now I'm going to zap it again here on the front real quick. And it looks done. All right, so I don't know if you can see that. Oops, let's get it in the phone here. In the camera. There we go. Okay, which way do we go here? This is crazy. Okay. Take the clothespin off of there. There we go. There, you can see that that's shiny and it's raised a little bit. So that allowed me to emboss with my dye-based ink pad. Gives it a little kick. And add that to the card. And I'm just going to use my green glue again here. Or Tombow, whichever you want to call it. Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. So there we go. Let's hold that down a little bit more. And so there's the card. Now let me show you two more that I did as I was prepping for this. Let's see, this was the first one that I did. Thanks for brightening my day. This one I think I moved up a little bit further to give a little bit more show of that paper down at the bottom. And I just, because this was on black, I just used the basic black. And used Memento ink for this. So there's that one. And then I did another one this morning with Mossy Meadow. Again, thanks for brightening my day. And with this one, I used Mossy Meadow and also embossed with that. So I have some other samples that will be on my blog. This week I've been blogging on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays pretty regularly since the first of the year, and showing projects on there that I've done on my Monday live. So you can see more there. I'll have a couple more tomorrow. I've done actually 1, 2, 3. I've done 5 other cards, all with this paper, a little bit different paper, but all from this sample or this pack that's from the celebration. So be sure to check there. And I've got this little sign I made. See, when I try to do new things, I press the wrong buttons. But anyway, patstamper.typepad.com or Pat's Stampin' Place, and you can find me there on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And sometimes I have a little bonus going there too. So be sure to check that out, and you can subscribe there. You can also see me on YouTube, and all my YouTube videos are there showing on my blog with a link to all of them that I've done for the last year and a couple months. So anyway, thanks for putting up with my craziness today. Again, it's kind of snowmageddon, and I hope that this snow gets out of here so I can go out tomorrow when I do have some plans to go someplace in the morning. So anyway, thank you, Sue. I love the Mossy Meadow too. That's one of my favorite greens. but I do like that one. And they're all thanks for brightening my day. And I thank you all for brightening my day and showing up on Mondays at 3:30. And I'll see you again next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.